Hi Stampers! Today we're diving right into our second card of the week using the Stippled Roses bundle. We're going to stamp the often overlooked large leaf stamp and transform it into a stunning wreath. Stay tuned as we embellish it with charming flower dies, a graceful bow, and a heartfelt best birthday wishes. I'm Nancy Novak, your Stamping Up creative coach. Let's get inspired by this gem from the last mini log, and good news, it's carrying forward into the new annual catalog. But if you want to get it as a bundle, which means you save 10%, you got to get it before May 1st. After May 1st, they sell the stamp set and the die set separately. So there's a little shopping tip for you. But let's get on to today's card. So I have a base of Lost Lagoon, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. I have two front layer pieces, both in white. One's just a little bit bigger than the other one. And I have a stamping piece. We're going to stamp our leaves on that. And I have a little tiny scrap. We're going to die cut some flowers. And then I have a small scrap of white for our sentiment. And I have a piece of pretty peacock. We're going to cut a leaf out of that. And then I made a bow ahead of time. So first thing we're going to do is some stamping. So I'm going to bring that big leaf stamp in, and I have my scrap here and pretty peacock, and I'm going to stamp 3 leaves. And since we have the ink out, pretty peacock, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Best birthday wishes, and we're going to do something special with that. So I'll put that off to the side for now. And now you're going to do some die cutting. So we need to cut out the 3 leaves. Let me bring in the die. So we have this great big leaf die. So we're going to cut out 3 leaves. And then I have this little flower die. And I'm actually going to, this scrap is big enough, I'm actually going to place it on here and cut out 3 little flowers. And then on the pretty peacock piece, I'm going to cut out this pretty leaf. So I'm going to do that for you really quick. Remember, I do all your fast forwarding for you, so I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so there are our die cut leaves and flowers. The next thing we need to do before we put our card together is take the smaller white piece and emboss it with the pretty and new Eyelet 3D embossing folder. So this is my new favorite. It's available May 1st, and it's very, very pretty. It has all these little eyelet shapes on it, gives your card such beautiful texture. So let me run that through the machine and I will be right back. So there it is. Isn't that pretty? It looks so pretty on your card. So if you're new to my channel, you're going to notice that I fast forward a lot and my videos are very short, but you will get all the content that you need, learn tips and tricks, and hopefully be inspired to make some really beautiful cards. So if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. And I am here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we're going to bring in our embossed piece, and that's the piece that we're going to create our wreath on. And what I did was I took the leaves and I cut away the stems. We don't need the stems. And I actually separated the 2 pieces. So I just cut it right in half, just like that. So you have a larger piece and a smaller piece for each leaf. The next thing I did was I put some dimensionals on the back of my leaves. So I'm just going to use these edges. And I just put 1 dimensional on the little leaf and 2 on the big leaf. Okay, the next thing I did was I just kind of laid them on my card front in the shape of a circle, and I made my little wreath. So I started off with the larger leaf. So I went larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. So I just started up here like that. And I'm not pushing down too hard on these dimensionals, and just in case I want to move them, in case I want to reshape my wreath. Just like that, and I'm happy with that. Let me bring it up closer so you can see. And I'm just going to give it a little pat, make sure they're nice and stuck down on the front of my card. And then I brought in this piece right here and I glued it down. And then I arranged my little flowers on here, and then I glued those down. Next, I took our sentiment and I just cut it apart into 3 words. And now I'm going to glue those down on the bottom of my wreath. Okay, so far so good. So let's bring in a glue dot and we'll attach this bow. This is ribbon that I had from a while ago. It's discontinued, but I'm sure you could find some pretty ribbon in your stash. Put a nice bow right there. I'm going to glue this to our larger white piece. Then I'm going to glue it to our card front. Then I'm going to add some rhinestones. I don't remember if I mentioned that I was inspired from the mini catalog, the prior mini catalog. There is a project, a sample in that catalog that looks very similar to this. I think it was a box that they made, or a treat box, and I thought it would be pretty on a card. So let's put some pretty rhinestones on here. And I like this little background, this little eyelet embossing folder, and I just pick a few of the little dots in between the little eyelet pieces, and that's where I'm going to place my rhinestones. Just like that. So isn't that a fun card? What a fun way to use that leaf, something out of the ordinary that you normally wouldn't think of. So I thought that was really fun. And here's yesterday's card. And if you missed that video, you can watch it probably right about here. You can just click on it, and I'll be back on Friday with a fun technique. You won't want to miss it. So I hope to see you then. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.